Front row racing has been in the sport for a while, to the point that I can't even remember a time that 34 wasn't on the track. However, for most of the team's existence, they have mostly been a bottom tier team that didn't really have any hope for success outside of a super speedway. This was the narrative around the team from its inception in 2005, but recently that narrative has flipped on its head, and a lot of that is thanks to Michael McDowell. Sure, he does get a lot of credit for that, but I think there might be some other factors that have also led to this team looking like a playoff contender in 2022. And I think the future may be bright for this once backmarker team. Let's rewind to the beginning of 2021 when McDowell broke through and won the Daytona 500 as the underdog win of all underdog wins. People weren't too surprised by this win because if there's one thing Front Row was good at, it was super speedway racing where the playing field was as level as it gets. Plus, McDowell had gained a reputation as one of the better super speedway drivers in the garage. McDowell also was known to be solid at road courses with a sports car background, so it was no surprise that with the help of a guaranteed front pack start from his win at Daytona, that McDowell was able to net another top 10 with an 8th place finish at the Daytona road course. As race 3 rolled around at Homestead, he was expected to finally take his spot in the middle of the field, despite starting 6th on the grid. By the middle of the race, most of the people were right, as the 34 was in the middle of the pack running about 17th. However, this is where he diverges from the expectations, as McDowell would go on to finish 6th place in that race with his 3rd top 10 in a row. This put him on the radar of most fans, as this was possibly the best 3-race stretch ever for Michael McDowell and Front Row. Eventually the streak would come to an end at Las Vegas, but a couple races later he would notch another top 5 at Talladega, but he would only find the top 10 one more time that season at Texas. When it came time for his playoff bid, thanks to the win at Daytona, he would look solid in the first race at Darlington until he wrecked out and wouldn't compete any further for a championship. Regardless, this was seen as a very successful season for both McDowell and Front Row, considering what they were accustomed to running. But the majority of fans, probably including myself, saw it as the peak rather than a stepping stone to future improvements. Which brings us to 2022. You may have noticed that when recapping 2021, for Front Row, I never once mentioned their second driver, Anthony Alfredo. Well, that is mostly because there wasn't much to mention. Alfredo had one top 10 on the year, and that was pretty much it. I love Anthony, even watching his streams from time to time, and I actually think he's quite a talented driver, but he had no business being in that car simply because he had very little experience. Just some random truck races and half an Xfinity season was all he had, and that's not enough experience to justify a Cup Series ride. Personally, I think he deserved the job over Matt Snyder, in that 21 job I should clarify, which would have stopped him from trying the Cup Series, but hindsight's 2020. Anthony Alfredo ran aside though. After his rookie year, to put it nicely, Front Row decided to take on another rookie, Todd Gilliland. That wasn't completely out of left field like the Alfredo decision. Gilliland had ran for Front Row's Truck Series team a couple years, but had no Xfinity experience, and he didn't really strike me as, or anybody as, Cup ready. However, if you think about it, no rookies are really Cup ready, but that's just a whole nother conversation for another day, I guess. Anyways, so with the memory of Anthony Alfredo's disastrous season fresh in NASCAR's fans' heads, they didn't expect much different from the newest rookie to come through the revolving door that is the 38 car. Don't get me wrong, Todd Gilliland didn't set the world on fire or anything like that, but in 2022, he showed potential for growth that honestly exceeded my expectations. The most noticeable difference of the 38 car from 2021 to 2022 was the 4 positions higher average finish. I mean, the team went from being lucky to get a top 25 to consistently running in the top 25 and even the top 20 on many occasions. Gilliland also netted his first career top 5 at a chaotic Indy road course race. That was also his first top 10, and it was certainly an up and down year for the team, but that's what's expected for a rookie driver, especially a rookie that's never ran an Xfinity race, let alone a Cup Series race. Really, when you consider those factors with the equipment he's in, that's a solid season. In fact, those 2 top 10s are good enough to put him 5th on the Front Row's all-time top 10 list behind his dad, David Gilliland. Boy, that's an ESPN stat if I've ever seen one. Bottom line, a solid rookie year from Todd, and I'm glad to see he'll be back, I think, in that 38. Very curious to see how he does next season. Now let's go back to the star of the show, Michael McDowell. As I alluded to earlier, 2021 was a great year and all, but 2022 was where the 34 team took it to a whole nother level. No, they didn't make the playoffs, but the team doubled their top 10s from last year and then some, with a total of 12 on the year. That in itself was impressive, as that's more top 10s than 2 round of 8 drivers, William Byron and Chase Briscoe, but also both Austin Dillon and Cindric, who are also playoff drivers, all of which we can agree have better equipment than what the 34 team is working with. It is worth noting that the 34 was hit with a heavy 100-point penalty that skews from what we could have seen as high as a 19th place finish in the points to just a 23rd place finish in the points. Considering their circumstances though, a really impressive year regardless. But what was the cause for this surge in performance? Was it the next gen? The new car certainly has leveled the playing field, and McDowell has stated that it seems that car caters towards his sport car background. Was it the new crew chief? The 34 team got a new crew chief in the 2022 season, Blake Harris, who had caught the attention of Hendrick Motorsports, who poached him to take to sit atop the 48 box in 2023. Will this become the standard for Front Row throughout the next gen era? It's all impossible to tell right now, and all we can do at this point is speculate and see what happens next year. Well, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, be sure to leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and comment down below your guys' thoughts. Do you think Front Row is poised to get even better next year, or do you think these last 2 years, or really, you think last year was a fluke, or can they build off of that? Let me know down below in the comments. I know this is really short, but it's been busy times in college. I'm almost going to be on a break, so hopefully there can be some more videos. I want to talk about Front Row because they had a great year in 2022, and hopefully they have an even better year. So yeah, that's all I got. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Lap for Carl Edwards at Michigan.
One lap, be cautious, be safe. You got plenty of room, pony.
In 2005, he had 4 wins, finished 3rd in the chase. Last year, he struggled almost the entire season, never found his way to victory lane. Just after Memorial Day, he spent a day on the USS Enterprise with over 5,500 sailors. Signed autographs for an hour, got to launch F-18s off the deck. He said they inspired him. Carl Edwards off of 4, and after 52 races without a victory, Carl Edwards wins at Michigan.